everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports. Oh, boy. We are jacked up today, all pumped up for this.
Can't wait.
My name's James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
And thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode.
I did.
I thought it was fun as hell. A psycho as usual.
They never stop.
They never stop. We really have a
knack for finding these.
Well, they just have a knack for fucking up constantly.
They find us.
They find us, Jimmy. We're just here. We're like those mediums. They're like, we're not looking for the spirits. They just find us,
They just
man.
come to us.
They find us, and the guy who has found us this week is so much fun. Oh, Jesus, this guy's amazing. Before we get into this, just want to remind you guys, please rate and review on iTunes.
Please do.
Please do. It helps us out so much. Really is a huge help in the ratings and everything else. It's just a big deal in the rankings. Yeah. So please get on there, do that for us. Takes like 30 seconds. We will love you forever. So
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so
much.
much.
And to the newest one, thanks.
Yes, the new and to just everybody also too. We've had a lot of new listeners in the last few weeks, and we thank you guys a ton. And we're gonna keep bringing you fresh scum every week, fresh idiots. And we'll take
Patrick Swayze's to our Whoopi Goldbergs.
Yes, we will
keep coming back to talk to us.
No prisoners. Let's do this. So, okay, this week, this guy, he's Steve Durbano. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's an NHL player. We're getting into this. Is our first hockey player. We've had really soccer, we've had bodybuilding, we've had wrestling and football and baseball. This is our first hockey player. Honestly, hockey players don't do a lot.
They leave. They're able to kick people's asses on the ice.
Yeah.
So they just leave their psychotic tendencies there, most of them.
I feel like they just retreat to their cabin somewhere in the Canadian woods and grow their mustache and drink beer, drink some Molson's. Like, that's how I figure these hockey players live.
It's too fucking cold to go out.
Apparently so. This gentleman this week is known as one of just the craziest son of a... Probably this is the... alpha crazy son of a bitch in the NHL in the history of hockey, pretty much.
I'm on board.
Now, I am not an enormous, I don't know everything about hockey. I know a decent amount about hockey. I'm not as much as football or baseball or basketball, but I'm not this isn't soccer.
Right.
I'm not sitting here going, I don't know what the fuck happened. I know positions and I know shit. So hockey fans, if we're not 1,000% perfect on some of the hockey stuff, we apologize.
I, on the other hand, my extent of it is a movie starring Emilio Estevez. I know a lot about this Disney film in which one team in your league is named after. That's what I know.
That's sad,
what I know.
That actually is but this guy was actually some of his and teammates' exploits for actually fodder for another hockey movie called Slapshot, which is a huge... I know you've never seen it, but it's a complete classic. Paul Newman's in it. It's the classic... hockey comedy movie. It's got the guys with the glasses with the tape on them and all that, which is actually based on which is actually played by one of Steve Durbano's teammates.
Awesome.
Here later on, so we'll get into that. But the crazy.
I'm going to watch that movie this week.
You should. It's a fun movie. But let's get into this. Harry Stephen Durbano. He's born in Toronto.
Harry Stephen Durbano.
Goes by Steve Durbano. He's born in Toronto, Ontario.
He chose the middle name?
He chose the middle name. He's like, Harry, I'm not going with that. Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to go after a description of a dick.
I may be a psychopath, but I'm going to go with Steve. Sounds less crazy. He's born on December 12th, 1951. He goes to school till the 10th grade, which is common. He wasn't he wasn't like Eddie Johnson lived on a watermelon plantation or anything. He in hockey, this is very common. These kids get signed when they're 16 years old, and they go play professional hockey. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. So he does that. He's a big kid, 6'1", 210, which in the late 60s, early 70s is a big ass hockey player. Yeah. He's a defenseman.
Today, that's a big dude. I'm 5'8". That's a big fucking guy.
That's a big guy, but back then that was a pretty big. That's a pretty big hockey player, and a defenseman. He's a beast as a defenseman. He's the enforcer. He's a goon. He's a goon, and hockey fans obviously know what this is. If you're not a hockey fan, let me fill you in on the enforcer. Okay, every team has a guy or two that's your scorer. That's your pretty boy. Let's picture your Wayne Gretzky. We all know who Wayne Gretzky is. Picture blonde hair flowing as he jukes people with and he shoots it in effortlessly. Well, teams tend to get angry at that and take cheap shots at guys like that, and they'll try to take his head off. Now, a guy like Steve Durbano, or in Gretzky's case, Marty McSorley in the 80s, would then come into the game, find the guy who did that, and immediately beat the living shit out of him. That was it. No,
I like him already.
No anything. They go up to him, drop the gloves, and fight.
And just go.
And the other guy knew that that's why he was there, because he took a cheap shot at Gretzky, and that's how it works. You know what I mean? That's
Sidney
hockey.
Crosby.
Exactly. There's always, and Mario Lemieux had McSorley too. They brought him over there. I mean, it was so Durbano was this guy to the extent of, he wasn't just doing it to get back at you for taking a cheap shot. Right. He just felt like fighting everybody on the face of the earth, basically. And he did fight everyone on the face of the earth, on and off the ice, for years to come. And we're going to get into this. Starts out in 67, 68. I take it that's when he's, drops out, and he plays for York Steel. This is like minor league.
All right.
But like, it's still hot shit in Canada, like junior hockey, basically. Plays for the Toronto Marlboros, which is kind of a good junior league team here, from 68 through 71.
All right.
Shit starts right away with him.
What the hell is a Marlboro?
I don't know. They call them the Marlies. Oh, that's what everybody, like, the guys on the team always called them for. Also, too, at this point, he's working part-time at the Maple Leaf Gardens, where Toronto professional NHL teams, Maple Leafs. He's sweeping and shit like that, so he can still stay in the hockey mode. Immediately in the 60s, he gets in trouble for assaulting a police officer. He gets arrested. The story isn't clear because it was in the late 60s in Canada. So I don't know. There's not a lot of press coverage, but a teammate recalls him getting arrested for assaulting a police officer in 1969.
A Royal
Canadian mounted police officer, probably, more than likely.
He punched a horse.
He punched him. He punched the horse. That's right away. This guy's like 18 years old. He's like, I need to punch a cop right now.
Find a guy with a badge.
He's not even in the pros.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's good? Yeah, let me punch. I'm going to knock you off your horse, pal. You think you're doing? He is drafted in the NHL 13th overall in the first round by the New York Rangers in 1971.
Yeah.
21 years old.
Already
things are going well for him, right? You figure that.
New York Rangers, is that what you said?
Yeah, New York Rangers. Never actually plays for the Rangers.
Okay.
He is traded to St. Louis for future considerations.
The Blues?
That's the St. Louis Blues.
All right.
There you go.
I know a little bit.
Yeah, trades him to there. Yeah, Jimmy's catching on. Trades him to St. Louis. Future considerations. I get a couple of guys later on who I didn't know who the hell they were, so it doesn't matter. Let's see here. He played minor league 71, 72. He's playing there. Plays for St. Louis, gets moved to Pittsburgh. Yep. He plays till 1979. He is a transient son of a bitch.
Wow.
He is. We'll kind of get into the timeline here. I'll just run through his career.
Just whoever needed muscle at the time picked him up.
Yeah, he plays for St. Louis. He gets traded to Pittsburgh for some muscle. There's a really good story about him getting traded to Pittsburgh. This is 1974. And he's on the team for like 6 days. And Pittsburgh was considered they were considered soft at the time. Yeah. That's why they got him.
Was that when they had Lemieux?
No. This is the 70s. He played in the 80s, 90s, 90s mostly. Okay. Hodgkin's having son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But so they're whatever here. Where they just get him. 6 days they have him. They're trying to toughen up. St. Louis, his old team, comes into town. And they're saying before the ice and warm-up, before the game and warm-ups, they're skating around. He's going around all his old teammates. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Hey, how the kids doing? How's your wife? Good to see you, pal.
Catching up.
Said the second the game started, he is just taking cheap shots at people. Got in a fight immediately with one of his old teammates who's like his good friend, beat the shit out of him.
Give Mary my regards. What the fuck?
Insanity.
How are the kids? I'll take a tooth.
So that's the type of guy he was. 74, 75, plays one game and has a severe wrist injury, avoiding a check on the boards. And this wrist injury is going to come up later also, so keep that wrist injury in mind. Then he goes to the WHA, which is the World Hockey Association, which was an upstart league called the USFL of hockey.
Yeah.
And they started running in the early 70s and ran till the end here.
Gotcha.
Till he was done, basically, in 79. And then that
league
falls apart. And that's when we get the good stories, too. And a lot of the slapshot stuff comes from when he was on the Birmingham Bulls in 1977, 1978.
Great.
So we're going to get into all this hockey stuff, but we're going to kind of go through it as a timeline here.
I like that.
It's going to be fun. Let's see here. Now, the WHA, World Hockey Association, just to get into that a little bit, this is kind of like the rebel. So when we talk about this later, they were the ones that let players be free agents.
All right.
Because hockey had a reserve clause like baseball, where the team could just keep re-upping your contract and you had no choice, and they could just pay you whatever they wanted.
Oh, that's nice.
They always had, it's
that's
the reserve clause.
For the team.
Yeah, they always have the right to sign you the next season if they want.
They can keep a great player.
And then Kurt Flood challenged it in baseball, and other guys challenged it. Yeah. And Bobby Hull was the first guy to do this, and he was the big star to jump to the WHA. He'll come up later also, and Steve Durbano gets in a fight with him and tears his toupee off of his head that was stitched in deep and throws it into the crowd. So some lucky fan went home with Bobby Hull's toupee and half of his scalp
Lots
that
of
night.
DNA.
Yeah, he could have created another Bobby Hull. So yeah, we'll get into the WHA and all that shit. So he starts using coke in his rookie season, by the way.
Why the hell
cocaine?
not?
Yeah. Steve Durbano likes his cocaine. Much like, this is the Canadian Eddie Johnson. Like, if Eddie Johnson was born in Canada, this is what his life would have been like. He would have been he would have had less shit going on, because there's less shit going on in Canada.
Because it's fucking Canada.
But he would have had this is would have been his life. He would have been like an enforcer that, did a lot of cocaine.
Loves cocaine.
He started doing it a little bit in his rookie season, and it was just for fun, recreational. He called it, quote, his Friday night sweetheart. That's kind of cute, right?
That is adorable.
Isn't that nice?
It's the nicest way I've ever heard cocaine referred to.
It's amazing. So he's in the early 70s. And his troubles with the law start right away too. Early 70s.
By the way, don't they play weekends too? Like,
oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why is Friday night the only night you're using that shit?
It's Friday night, sweetheart. It's like in Goodfellas. Yeah, Friday night was for the girlfriend.
It's his party night.
Yeah, it's his party night. Or was it Friday night for the? I don't remember. I think Friday night was for the girlfriends. But anyway. So early 70s in a town called St. Catharines. He's which is also, he gets arrested there later on. He is arrested for attacking a timekeeper that he claimed was letting players out of the penalty box early, the home players, because he was on the road. And he said, "You son of a bitch," and he tried to attack the timekeeper, and a cop tried to intercede, and he threw his glove in the cop's face.
And that got him arrested.
And so that got him arrested. Charges dropped eventually because it's Canada and he's a hockey player, so that's fine in the early 70s. He in Niagara Falls, right around the same time, he attacks a fan with a stick that was heckling him. He was heckling him. He just tried swinging the stick at him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so his charges dropped on that also.
And hockey fans are vicious, too. I can imagine what that guy said to him.
And in Canada, you heckle a hockey player, they have the right to beat you with a stick, apparently, because it's, charges dropped. Canada's a great country.
Taste my Easton.
And a lot of this, he's very, very angry. Everybody says he's volatile. Yeah. Just 1 second he's fine, next second off the deep end. He's fighting somebody. Yeah. And a lot of this, we think, comes from his childhood information is very sketchy. There's not a lot. I don't know. It was the 50s in Canada. Yeah. I don't know how much, whatever, how much it's documented. But his father is a guy named Nick Durbano. He was a hockey scout and a hockey executive.
All right.
And a real estate guy also.
He is steeped in hockey.
And he's also a real estate guy. Like the father, rumored to be a seriously abusive alcoholic too, though, which he's an alcoholic and a cokehead, so genetically that makes a lot of sense.
The white trash cycle doesn't break until you break it.
Exactly. Even Canada has their white trash. So he was once, there's an old hockey teammate from when he was a kid, a youth league teammate, said that his dad showed up to pick him up one day and was drunk and belligerent and beat the shit out of Steve in front of the whole team in the parking lot for no reason.
That's awesome.
So that's the kind of upbringing we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
Not a surprising deal. His father also bought a team when he was in the minors there, like Toronto Marlboros in the junior league there. His father bought one of the teams in that league.
So his dad had some go.
Yeah,
he was doing okay.
He bought the Hamilton Red Wings.
Yeah.
He also, later on, he ran the Sunshine Hockey League out of Jacksonville, Florida. I guess he was retired down in Jacksonville. But it's rumored that, and it's known later on in his life, the last few years of Steve's life, he was estranged from his father because he ends up going into doing a lot of business with his father, and it seems like a lot of
you get too much involved in your family, and your family sucks. You're gonna fucking walk away from him eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and as far as hockey goes, I mean, let's get into his skills and stuff like that here. He played 220 games in the NHL.
Yeah.
He has 13 goals, 60 assists, which for a goon defenseman is not bad, actually. That's 73 points.
Fighting most of the time.
That's pretty good. Yeah. And in the WHA, only in 1 year, he had 45 games played, 6 goals, 4 assists, which, again, not bad. The penalty minutes is his main stat. He has the most penalty minutes for anyone in the history of the NHL who has, like, a minimum amount. Like they're out. He averaged 5.1 penalty minutes per game.
Per game.
5.1.
And a game it's 3 periods of 15 minutes.
20
minutes. He's not playing the whole goddamn game.
No. They have lines. He might be in there 18 minutes or so. He's spending a third of that shit on the bench.
Sitting on a bench behind glass.
But he came in, beat the shit out of someone. That was his job.
Take your team down 1 man and sit for 5 minutes.
Oh, in 75-76, he led the NHL with 370 penalty minutes. And
wow,
he led the WHA in the one year he played there with 284 penalty minutes. Had 1,127 total NHL penalty minutes, 284 in the WHA.
1,100 and what?
1,127.
Holy, that's so many hours.
But he had almost a quarter of that in 1 year in the WHA in only 45 games. So the WHA was Wild West.
That is so many hours.
When we get to the Birmingham Bulls here. It's going to be fun.
Spent watching hockey and your team being down a man.
Being pissed off. And he himself would kind of downgrade his hockey talent. There's a quote from him here. He says, if I went on talent alone, I never would have made the NHL, is what he says. Yeah. But other people disagree with him.
Yeah.
Based on his scoring and stuff and his size, a guy... Frank Bonello was a coach with the Toronto Marlboros.
Yeah.
And he said he was a young player with tremendous potential. But every once in a while, he'd get frustrated and go off the deep end, was the way he put it. He said, quote, you would see him do these things on the ice, and you'd meet him after the game, and you'd never know it was the same person. He was a psychopath on the ice.
Coke-fueled rage on the fucking ice.
Just a maniac. And there a lot of people had these, positive quotes of him. Like Birmingham Bulls, it's the WHA team he played for. The goalie there, John Garrett, and we'll get some more quotes from him later. He said... He was big, mean, he could shoot the puck and make a play, but he'd just snap and he'd be out of control. He could play any system you wanted for a while, but then it was see you later, he was off on his own. So, he'd be fine, hey, everybody's doing good, and then, fucking snap on it. And
just take a skate off and try to stab somebody?
That's Happy pretty Gilmore much it. This is like this. This is basically Happy Gilmore is what we're dealing with
That's
here.
Great.
Except with some talent.
And Coke.
Lots of Coke. 73, he chases down a referee, Ron Wicks, chases him into the timekeeper's area, pushes him, and again spikes his glove into his face, too. This is a move he has, apparently.
This is his finishing move.
Son of a bitch, bang.
This is, what are you going to do about this? It's either going to start a fight or get me arrested.
So, he gets suspended for this. That's a big deal in the league, apparently. You can't assault referees.
Awesome.
Players assault all you want. No assaulting referees. I know he was suspended the first 3 games of the 76-77 season for shooting a puck at a referee while in an exhibition game in Japan.
The game doesn't even matter, bro.
You're in Japan. These people don't even know what fucking hockey is. It's the 70s. They're like, who are these bearded Canadian men?
They're blown away that you're moving on ice.
They're like, oh, look at that. And then you're the son of a bitch shooting a puck at a nutcase.
And those pucks are hard as fuck, and you're firing at a guy with no pad.
Like, what are you doing, Dick?
Expecting it. He doesn't.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He had some funny medical things. Not funny for him, but in 72-73 misses part of the season with mono. Like shit like that. He's super odd. Like later on too, he misses a part. He's 78. He missed training camp in the start of the season because he had hepatitis.
Jesus,
he's got all sorts of
the weirdest diseases.
He's got diseases and fights.
In what season did he contract the rickets?
Oh my God! And we haven't even gotten into his hardcore crime yet. Too. He's just. This is what I mean. This guy. Normally we do the sports and then we do the crime.
Right.
And this guy's sports kind of is his crime, and then he does more crime afterwards. It's a
crime to hockey that he plays.
His post-career life is just a cherry on top to his guy. It's like he's just fighting and doing all this shit.
Catching hepatitis. And
unbelievable.
What was the other? Mono, the kissing disease.
Yeah.
He caught that
He got
shit.
that. I don't know if he probably kissed a lot of people because he is a loon.
That's hysterical. Did he ever get listeria?
He liked the ladies, too.
Yeah.
He liked to party. He liked the drugs. And I don't know what year this is, but this was a teammate. This is a rumor that Durbano, one of the teams he played for, just went into the team office and demanded $400 from whoever was sitting there. I'd like $400, please. And they were like, I can't give you $400. And he says, well, I'm going to break both your fucking legs if you don't give me $400. Shocker. He walked out with $400 from the team's offices. Like, what a psycho.
That's great.
Who does that?
I need him on my team. That guy's fantastic.
He so reminds me of these old wrestlers when I was doing the Jimmy Snuka
I
research.
bet he'd get me booked more.
Oh, we need him as a manager.
Whisman needs a weekend.
Yeah,
I can't give him a weekend. I'll break
in.
your fucking legs. You don't give him a weekend.
Okay, weekend, and we got travel
got you
too.
A weekend.
We'll take care of travel too. Don't worry about it.
We got you first
We
class.
got you covered. Shit. First class in comedy means a bus ride with the luggage under the bus. That's first class for an opener.
First class, the host is going to drive you around.
Yeah, the host gets to drive you, or like a waiter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is great. 77 in Detroit. Now, this reporter is going to come back later on because this reporter that he didn't like writes some hilarious shit about him later on, writes a very scathing article, and then writes an obituary for him when he eventually passes away. And that obituary is the best obituary in the history of mankind. Stick around for this obituary, guys, because this fucking last line of this obituary is like, holy shit.
It's a doozy.
This is a top-notch thing here. At this point, though, in 77, he was in Detroit on a road game, and this reporter was pre-game. The reporter nobody was in the stands. Reporter was out there. It's a female reporter, too, mind you.
All right.
Durbano became visibly upset that he kept missing the net in a 3-on-2 drill. So when he was done, he skated over by the reporter who was sitting alone and threw his stick at her like a spear.
How dare you ruin my day?
Yeah, pissed off at her for it. And then he later on, also when he was in prison, called her to threaten her life from prison. Also,
what the fuck?
So these two
what
don't
did
get
this
along
woman
at all.
do? Nothing.
Just wrote
just
shit
sat
about
there.
him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, did not like her at all. In this particular incident with the spearing of the stick, PR person apologized because she's a member of the press for Christ's sake. She doesn't want him to write that up. So he doesn't want her to write it up. So PR came over, apologized, and eventually Durbano was cut shortly after that from the team. Also.
Wow.
So that's another thing, and he's going to leave a lot of places because of his own issues and his own problems and his own dumb shit, insanity behavior. He's crazy. And it's just...
javelining the press.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's nuts. Okay, here we go. And another thing, too, he just flies off the handle. And his teammates, a lot of times, they love him, a lot of these guys. You read the articles, like, Steve's a great guy, and I love him to death. Crazy as a son of a bitch.
Just has those episodes.
But, I guess in hockey, too, in the 70s, there were some crazy people involved, and you're like, that guy's crazy. We ain't dead. He gets my back out on the ice, I guess, was the deal. But once left the bench with 59 seconds left in a game because he was upset at his playing time, just took off, and they had to have a vote of the teammates to see if they were going to allow him back on the team or not, or if he was going to be cut.
He's the original Allen Iverson.
He's the original. A lot of shit.
Wasn't it Iverson who did that?
A lot of guys did that.
Yeah.
I remember Pippen wouldn't go in the game because they called the play.
I think
for
Kobe
Kukoc.
did it too once.
Everybody's done. Yeah, everybody's done it. The Dennehy, who got killed last week by Carlton Dotson. He didn't get killed last week. He got killed in 2003. But we covered last week. He did the same thing in New Mexico, and they kicked him off the team for it. Apparently leaving the bench early because you're pissed off with your own playing time.
As fuck.
Not okay to do with a team environment, apparently. I never thought to do that when I played sports. Like, I'm just going to leave. So I'm glad I didn't, because apparently it's
the game's not over, but it's clearly over for me. I'm leaving. What the fuck?
Basically, he's trying to... Here's a quote. We're doing their own words. Let's start in their own words here. A quote from Steve Durbano, just kind of talking about his role in hockey and, whatever. Okay. In their own words, here we go. Quote, "We can all see that the game has changed, but I think all hockey fans like to see a good fight now and then. Nobody likes to see the stick swinging, but everybody likes it when two big guys drop their gloves and go at it."
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all.
He's not wrong. He is stick swinging also.
Yeah.
At referees and members of the media also.
A little bit of blow, a javelin at a couple of reporters, but he's saying all the right things.
He is saying all the right things. In his career, now this is compiled from information from 1969 to 1979, he apparently was in 125 fights on the ice.
And he backs up his words, apparently.
125.
Holy shit.
That's more than 10 a year.
Yeah.
He is fucking brawling. This guy just,
My God.
drop of a hat will throw down. I mean, that's so much. That's dropyourgloves.com is the
I've
site
never been in that many even close to fights in my life.
If you just Google search Steve Durbano fight, it is unstoppable, just unending YouTube clips of Steve Durbano just fighting people in the 70s.
Is it pretty good?
Oh, he's just crazy.
I'll do it.
He doesn't care if you're, whoever you are. He doesn't care. He's just like, I'll fight you. I'll just go there.
Starts throwing,
he doesn't give
hands.
a shit. No, he's just a crazy person.
Yeah.
And he's coked up, and he's a complete alcoholic through his whole career too. Heavy,
so he's
heavy
feeling
alcoholic.
no pain.
No, I mean his alcoholism continues through his whole life, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
I mean his cocaine use gets out of control, but that tapers off later on. But his alcohol is going to be a serious thing. And he didn't apparently also too. Here's Steve Shutt or Shoot. I don't know. So apologize, hockey fans. S-H-U-T-T.
I think that's Shutt.
It's no C. Shutt. I'm thinking he's a Hall of Fame left winger, so hockey fans might know him. He was a teammate on the Toronto Marlboros with him, and he said, "quote I talked with him a couple times about his fighting. I assume. I don't know why he just couldn't control himself. It's too bad, really, because he had genuine talent. He didn't have to be a fighter. He could play the game." So he's just a psychopath.
And
that's the thing.
too, it sounds like he has such low self-esteem, and that's probably from his dad
Abuse
being a
and
dick.
this and that. Yeah.
But he hates himself, and he says, I wouldn't have made this league had it not been for me being able to fight. And everybody else is like, he made the league because he can play.
He can play. He's
but
a big
blown
guy.
it because he fights so much.
But all he does is fight. Yeah, there's a place for it, and even now. But I mean, back then especially, hockey had a big place. But there was a place for fighting in hockey. It was a big part of the game. But you don't have to do it to this extent of completely.
He felt that was his position.
He felt, and I don't even think it was that. It really seems like he just went out there, and there wasn't rhyme or reason to it. It wasn't like orchestrated. It was like, I'm upset, and I'm going to go fight that guy for no fucking reason.
Nobody's shooting me the puck. I'm just going to blast this guy in the face,
even if it's to the detriment of my team. Right. That's what it was. Like it's fucking ridiculous what this guy does. 78, 70, and this is even translates to the fans here. 77, 78 season, after a game. Durbano's leaving the dressing room. This is in Winnipeg. This is the Birmingham Bulls WHA season. He's leaving the dressing room. A Winnipeg fan starts heckling him. He's somehow in the back there, starts heckling. The guy's in a suit and tie. So Durbano starts fighting him. A teammate said, you never know how tough a guy is in a suit and a tie. You can't tell. He goes, apparently this guy was pretty tough. Because apparently this guy's getting the better of Durbano.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of it, too. He just played an entire hockey game. So he's probably drained or whatever.
Right.
But still, he should be able to kick a fan's ass. I don't know how big this guy was. He could have been a lumberjack. He's in fucking Winnipeg. Who knows who the hell this guy was. So he starts kicking his ass.
The brawny man likes hockey.
So the coach walks out, sees this, runs in the locker room, and he's like, hey, they're kicking the shit out of Durbano out here. Somebody got here. So everyone's in the shower, so 6 naked men run out and start beating the shit out of this fan who's on top of him.
That's better than the hockey game.
Oh, and the fans are yelling at them, going, hey, your dicks are small. And they're like, that's how they're, and he's like, hey, it's cold. What do you expect? And they're literally 6 naked hockey players are
beating the shit out of a brawny man.
And there is Molson and maple syrup flying everywhere. It's a fucking disaster. It was catered by Tim Hortons. It's just a mess. Sorry, Canada.
Donuts and coffee everywhere.
Just everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, this is the type of guy he was. Well, what happened? The game, I'll just fight this guy anyway, even though the game's over. And I don't know if I can beat him up.
Everybody, bring your dicks. Get out here. What the? That's the craziest thing. They just ran the...
It's fucking insane.
Could you see that happening in the NBA? Like... First, nobody gets back in the back.
No.
You know what I mean? Where he's leaving the stadium. But had there been like a Kobe and a fan fighting, and Shaq and Pau Gasol
running out with their dicks flopping out all over the place.
Kobe will handle it.
Okay, guys, these guys are like, oh shit, help
go.
Steve, and they all run out there like we're all gonna help. It's amazing.
What's this all about?
What's this all about? Yeah, they're kicking. Hey, first bad Canadian accent of the night. Yay! Woohoo! We are going to just absolutely offend anybody with accents because they're going to come out because that's life. You know what I mean?
Many apologies, Canada.
It's so sad. I mean, he developed such a bad reputation for himself. It's like, as a professional, you can't get any worse of a reputation if you're Steve Durbano. Right. And unfortunately, there's other people named Steve Durbano. Like Steve Durbano, the senior manager at Federal Development Ops Network and Security for Defense and Space at Force Point LLC.
That sounds professional as fuck.
It does, and he speaks Spanish, according to his LinkedIn profile. So this Steve Durbano, people are going to think he's a crazy, cokehead, lunatic thug. Meanwhile, he's developing things. The poor real estate appraiser, Steve Durbano, from Fresno, California.
I don't feel bad for him. He's a real estate appraiser.
He just wants to tell you what your house is worth, and you're like, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me, and I don't have any cocaine. I'm sorry. So these people, there's a lot of people like that.
Keep your naked teammates out of here.
Keep your teammates with their dicks flopping all over. So, yeah, late 70s now. I believe it's 76, 77. Nobody had an exact date for this, which is hilarious to me. He marries a woman who is, by all accounts, way crazier than him.
Awesome.
This lady apparently makes him look just like a little less crazy person. I'm not going to say like a sane person, right, because that would be impossible. But this lady is nuts. Her name's Lisa. I'm going to give you a couple of stories about her to give you the exact extent.
That's my wife's name.
Oh, I know.
So I know.
We're going to build the mountaintop of Lisa right here.
Lisas are pretty
hill.
Unpredictable ladies.
Your wife, and I know your wife, she's a lovely, lovely lady. Your wife is like Snow White, like a Disney princess, prancing through the forest with birds
singing
chirping
to birds
around her
and
head.
Shit. Yeah.
With this lady, I'm telling you, you're going to go home and you're going to kiss your wife, and you're going to be like, Lisa, I want to thank you for being who you are. When you read
As
this.
we record this, tomorrow's Mother's Day, so I appreciate you doing that. That'll be nice.
It helps. It helps. The goalie John Garrett that we talked about earlier, read the quote. This is a story from him, and this is just a little intro. This isn't a terrible thing. This is just her wild streak. But later on, we get into her craziness and her psychoness. Okay, he says the wives were in the wives' lounge there in Birmingham, and he had his wife there, a woman named Shannon, and Lisa, who is Lisa Durbano, Steve's wife, said to Shannon, "You're a pretty girl." And Shannon said, "Thanks." And Lisa said, "You should get your tits done like mine," and lifted up her shirt to show her. And was like, "Come on, feel my tits." And this is in front of 30 people in the lounge.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I like her already. She's like that chick from Summer Rental.
Yeah, she's another incident with her in St.
Would you tell her they're nice?
That's what this is. They're at a party at one point for a teammate.
Yeah.
And everybody's bringing something to eat and a gift was the thing, right? They bring brownies. No one will eat the brownies because they don't know what's in the fucking brownies with these two. Seriously, no one ate the brownies.
How crazy do you have to be that you bring something to the potluck and everybody's like, don't touch that one.
That's going to be laced with something. They're crazy.
It's brownies. It's going to fuck us all up.
We don't even know what's going to be in it. It's going to be bad.
You're going to see tracers. You're going to trip over shit that isn't there.
So that's their snack. Imagine, because I assume there's a table, a long table with all the food on it, and everything's half picked apart, and there's just perfectly formed brownie.
Gorgeous brownie fucking
just
pyramid.
Pile of brownies that haven't been touched. We're going to not do that.
Thanks for bringing those.
Thanks, but we're
watching our weight. We're on a diet.
He's a diabetic. He's got insulin once it's bad.
And I'm watching my cholesterol.
It's just no good.
You just ate tacos, bitch. Eat my fucking brownies.
This is Canada. What are you talking about? You're eating back bacon
Hortons
by the fucking
huge.
handful.
Just eat this.
Yeah. You're eating back bacon by the handful. Eat my brownie. So this guy, then when it comes gift-giving time, her gift was to go up and pull her shirt off.
Wow.
And have him grope her as his birthday present.
Holy shit.
Which this guy's wife wasn't very happy about.
No.
It was right next to him.
Fuck
but
no.
Steve thought it was hilarious. He just thought it was terrific.
So far, I like Steve so much.
He would be fun, except he's got this other gear.
It's that twitch.
If you keep him in third gear, he's just he's like Lenny Dykstra before it all fell apart. He's just a fun weekend.
He just coasts.
Yeah, but if you once he pushes that clutch in and fires it up to fourth,
once
you're
you ship the gear,
here it comes. Then you don't want to be around him because you'll be arrested and you'll be beaten.
Don't stick the clutch in this one.
You'll be hacked with a hockey stick. There's teammates talking about him sharpening his hockey stick at the bottom, trying to make it razor sharp. What the hell are you doing? He goes, I'm going to cut that son of a bitch's heart out. Before the game. This is what he does. This guy's a psychopath, man.
That son of a bitch's heart out.
And he's such a crazy person that the other hockey players were like, he's crazy. Let's not. He's not. We're all a little out there.
Yeah.
We're running around with no helmets, with pucks flying around, fighting each other.
Fucking 90 miles an hour.
But that guy, avoid him. He has got problems. So yeah, he's in St. Louis. There's an incident with his wife. They are waiting to leave. They're all waiting at the team bus, like hanging out in the parking lot, standing there waiting for Steve. The whole team's there waiting for Steve to get there so they can leave on the bus to go to the airport. His car finally pulls up. They're late. He pops out of the door screaming like a lunatic at his wife in the car. She pops out the other side screaming. They scream. They start physically fighting each other tooth and nail for like 2 minutes. And the whole team is standing there, but they don't want to get involved because he's a fucking maniac and she's even crazier.
And he's punching his wife,
and she's
punching
fighting back. And if they get in the middle, guess what's going to happen? They're both going to beat the shit out of whoever intervened and then get back to each other. So they're like, let's just wait.
She's clearly vicious.
And there's no phone to look down at. This is the 70s. You can't like look down at your phone and check like Twitter.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have to look at your watch. I mean, hope you have a newspaper on you can pick up and like, what do you do? So eventually, they fought for about 2 minutes, and with the team watching in horror. And when they were done, she got in the car. Steve calmly picked up his suitcase, came over, and said, "All right, guys, what do we do?" Like nothing, like that just didn't occur in front of the whole team. So this is the type of shit we're dealing with now.
I like him.
He is a fucking loon bag. God, I love that. And he's fighting with his wife. Oh God. So here's where we really, really get the
meat.
Where the crazy comes with his wife, where we can really get into the deal here. He's on the road. This is the 77-78 season with Birmingham, WHA, all the crazy times. He's on the road in Winnipeg. His wife, Lisa, calls the hotel room and gets his teammate and roommate, Phil Roberto, calls him, says, where's Steve? He's like, oh, he's out right now. She said, okay, do me a favor, have him call me as soon as he gets in. He says, no problem.
Sure.
Right? He, of course, doesn't come in until the next morning because God knows what the fuck he was doing out there.
Wherever the fuck he was.
This crazy person. He's fighting people and snorting cocaine off of his hockey stick. He's a lunatic.
He's not cutting out hearts of people.
Cutting out hearts. And so they said, okay. She said, okay, good. He gets in the morning, and the roommate says, hey, call your wife. You know, she calls the wife. The wife tells him that she's already killed his dog.
Holy shit.
And is in the process of burning the furniture. That's the kind of woman we're dealing with.
That's awesome. Hey, honey, how are you? Oh, I'm doing great. You know Snuggles?
Dead as a doornail.
Dead as a doornail. But the good news is I'm going to cremate him on the fucking couch.
On the couch, because I'm going to set it
on your fucking
ablaze.
lazy boy, because I haven't heard from you in 18 hours.
Amazing. And the goalie, the guy who this all came from, the goalie guy said, man, he really loved that dog. I don't know why that made me laugh. And then it's terrible that the dog died for this laugh, but it's just
horrible.
I feel worse for the dog than I do for any of these victims.
It feels like it was like a very calm conversation, too, where he was like, hello? Hey, babe. I'm just checking in.
Dog's dead.
Dog is completely dead. No heartbeat.
Working on the living room furniture right now. Bedroom's gone. Burnt up in flames. Backyard just destroyed. Also burned a tree back there. Gonna have to get to something.
I just wanted you to call me so that I could ask you, would you like me to bottle up the ashes? Would you like that?
Would you like that?
Or do you want me just to spread them in the backyard?
Do you give a shit at this point? Unreal.
It's fucking great.
Unreal. And I guess apparently this got out in the lore of hockey, and the next game, the opposing team, whenever they would skate by their bench, anybody who would do it would bark at their bench.
Cocksuckers.
So that's hockey for you.
Oh my God, that's vile.
Which,
I love it.
He's just sitting in there going, you motherfuckers. Thank God I sharpened my stick.
I loved that dog.
I loved that dog. He's out there trying to cut people's throats.
Yeah. I sharpened my Easton, motherfucker. Growl at me again. Bark, I dare you. That's awesome.
Oh, man. So, yeah, he plays, he goes through back and forth. Like I said, Pittsburgh, goes to Kansas City. Yeah. Kansas City moves to Colorado. Nice. He goes with them. And
in the minor league team or with the Avalanche?
This was the Rockies. The Avalanche was actually, we'll get into later, with the WHA when it folded in.
Okay.
He plays for St. Louis in his last year. Only plays a few games, and he's cut.
Gotcha.
In 78, 79. The cocaine is the main problem, apparently.
Right.
It comes out later. Even he says it. Cocaine, general insanity. He's just a liability at this point. And he's bad pub, too. He's bad PR.
Sounds like it.
And people are not... Canada... Okay, guys, listen to this. Anybody who's listening in Canada, this is what we all think of you in America. We're going to tell you right now. We're going to level with you. We think that you're all very nice, and you don't want trouble,
right?
You'll fight if it comes down to it. I don't mean that. You're not pussies.
No.
But you're not looking for trouble.
No.
You're not looking for...
Very passive.
You're not looking to get involved in shit. And you got a guy like this who's just, I mean, you have nice Canadian fans, mild-mannered people sitting at home and reading about this guy doing insane shit, and they're like, oh, I like it on the ice, but, I don't know about, he's tearing up a Tim Hortons. That's going to be a problem.
Canadian people to me sound like you see something terrible in public and you just you judge them internally and you get home and then you sit around the dinner table and your kids go to bed and then you and your wife make fun of that person. We're just like, how terrible.
That's what Canadians
How awful
do,
was that? Whereas Americans will walk by and be like, you're being a cunt right now and just keep walking.
You're
a real asshole and just keep walking.
I feel like the Canadians might actually address it the next day with the person in a helpful, constructive manner.
Maybe that wouldn't have happened.
I'd like to talk to you. I think I can help you and we'd make you a bit where we'd be like, fuck that. Exactly.
Unless it was this guy's wife where she would have lit him on fire and all their belongings and their dog.
I would say so. So he goes, this point too, the WHA folds, okay? And just to let the hockey people here, also too, let's see here, four of the teams end up merging into the NHL, and you get some of them. You get the Edmonton Oilers, which is where Gretzky came from. You get the New England, which then turned into the Hartford Whalers, who I think they're Carolina now, right? Aren't they the Hurricanes? They moved from Hartford, maybe?
I'd have to check.
I don't know about that. That might be an expansion team, but see, I don't know my hockey knowledge that well. Quebec Nordiques, who then became the Colorado Avalanche later on, and they had the coolest fucking jerseys, the Nordiques.
Really?
Oh, I love them.
I'll have to look at it.
Blue. Oh, they were just sweet looking. And Winnipeg Jets also then became the Coyotes. So there you go. They fold after 79.
Are they Phoenix or they're Phoenix? Huh? They're
I don't
Phoenix
even know
Coyotes,
anymore. No one cares about the Phoenix Coyotes in Phoenix or otherwise.
The only person they care about is Shane Doan. That's it.
That's
all
anybody
cares
much about him either, for that matter.
He's the leader in.
He's been on the team for 20 years, I know. But
he's their scoring leader in history.
And that has gotten them
nothing at all.
Dismissed. Okay. Let's see. Here's in their own words from Steve Durbano at the end of his career. He said, quote, "But you never expect that your career will end so suddenly. I used to figure I'd play until I was 34 or 35, but I only lasted half that long. The game had changed and they didn't need me anymore." It's kind of sad, but it's also not really true because most of it was cocaine.
Right.
They still had thugs throughout Marty McSorley, like I mentioned before, lived through the 80s and 90s. It's a
very woe is me quote. That's a very please feel sorry for me.
Yeah, they didn't need me anymore. Right. That's almost like just not addressing the fact that
you got problems.
You got a lot of drugs.
You just wrote it all off.
Yeah, you have drug problems. And your wife kills your dog, and you guys fight in front of teammates. And generally, I would assume when his name would be brought up in a front office, maybe we should bring him in. They'd go, "Whoa,
did you hear about the dog?
You hear about the dog? You know anything about that? This guy's a psychopath."
How about that boxing match between him and his wife out front of the fucking bus?
Didn't he attack a timekeeper a few times?
Wasn't there like a stabbing?
Yeah, but hepatitis last year? We can't spread that around the team. Jesus Christ, no. No.
We can't.
We don't want that guy.
We can't test for listeria.
Jesus, no, we don't have it. He apparently made $500,000 in his career, which not that much actually. He early in his career, he played for nothing. I mean,
you can make that as a fucking tile worker nowadays.
Well, when he first signed, his first deal was for like a $10,000 signing bonus and a $9,000 salary. So that's what he made.
He's making $9,000.
That's what he made his
first.
Well, I mean,
this is 69.
This is 71.
Too. 71.
Which I mean, it's
you
not
can buy a
great.
car for $3,000.
Yeah, it's a living, but I mean, it's not. He wasn't.
No, you're not looking comfortable.
No. Even the Major League Baseball had it a little better than that.
You're not looking at retirement and you're like, I'm set up forever.
No, I mean, then by the end of his career with St. Louis, he made $75,000, I think, his last season.
Yeesh.
Which still.
That's in 79.
79. Yeah, he made $500,000 in his career. Spent it on drugs mostly. After that, he said it went quick, and I assume him and his wife they had to buy new furniture every 3 weeks.
He made $75,000 his last year. He made $500,000 over the entire thing. So he made almost a fifth of his total income in his very last year.
Because that's the salaries were getting
really
bigger.
Depressing.
If he made it another like 8 years, he would have even gotten more because that's hockey.
That's depressing.
By 1980, he's retired. He is self-reported here. He says he has a $1,000 a day cocaine habit at this point.
Whoa!
He was injecting and smoking it too. So he's freebasing. He's doing everything. I mean, he's fucking shooting.
You rarely hear of anybody overdosing on coke. You know what I mean? I mean, you can.
Happens a lot,
but it's never. It's always heroin. That's the one that
heroin,
ends up killing people.
They don't,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The coke, though. So that's a shitload of coke.
A shitload of coke, as he puts it himself. Quote. We'll do in their own words. Yeah. Quote. Right around the clock, I was doing a gram or two every hour for 24 hours. Wow.
That's a
shitload
lot.
Of coke. That's a lot of coke, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't even know how you would have your wits about you on that much coke. That's like
a shitload of coke.
Eddie Johnson's like, I got to move to Canada, because I want to hang out.
I thought it was in Miami. Apparently, it's all in Canada.
Yeah, and I mean, and he at this point also starts to say how he's doing interviews later on for what he gets busted for here. He's doing interviews, and he is saying, like, look, people do drugs in sports, basically, because at this point in 1980, they were still trying to brush this under the rug, as far as, you had the Pittsburgh scandal, Pirates, Steelers, that whole thing. I mean, drugs in sports were starting to be a big deal, and this was... So they were trying with hockey. They were trying to be like, "Oh, it's just him. He's just a crazy person." And he's like, "Oh, no." So
I'm the tip of the iceberg.
I'm the tip of the iceberg, and he explains that iceberg right here, and a little in their own words here. Quote: "Look, I never got high by myself. I always got high with other people. There were 5 or 6 on some teams, 1 or 2 on other teams. But if I get high with one of my teammates, and there's only 20 guys on a team, that's 10% right off the bat."
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's what he says.
He's still got his wits about him to do math. That's pretty important.
That's good. I mean, it is. I mean, if you think about it, it's 5, 6 out of 20 young guys that were kind of out and about in the late 70s.
That's a fourth, man.
They're doing some coke.
Yeah, there's a lot of coke going on.
There's a lot of fucking coke going on.
Sure.
I mean, and at this point, he starts... by the way, we have to tell you his nicknames also, which are great in hockey. His nicknames are his first one was Demolition Derby, like D-U-R-B, Derby. And then they just called him Mental Case. That was his Mental Case Durbano. So I mean that just tells you right there what you're dealing with.
I feel like that's like
Mental Case Durbano.
Yeah, that's like the first couple name too.
Yeah,
like they're just their couple. Him and his wife together are Mental Case.
Mental and Case. Right. They have like little suitcases that say MC on them. At this point, he's a bartender too. He's like tending bar. He invents a drink also. Called Never on a Sunday is the name of the drink, and it sounds absolutely horrific. It was the runner-up in the Toronto bartender competition in like 81 though. Tequila, Kahlua, Grand Marnier, milk, and cola.
Holy shit.
I don't know what the distributions are of those particular items, but
Tequila
I don't want those things together.
Like,
and milk?
That's a suicide
Putting milk in the fucking mix here?
That's a suicide. That's looking to shit your pants before you finish it.
That is called the pants shitter, I believe.
That's what I would call it.
That is called the intestine liquefier. Or Never on a Sunday, as he calls it.
That's called Never Wear Underwear on a Sunday. Never wear pants on Sunday because it's just going to be covered in brown.
Here's another in their own words, quote, "Those guys just don't want to say anything that might make the business look bad. Yeah. I'm not looking at the business. I'm looking at the guys and saying, I lost my career because of coke. You could lose yours too. They're watching you." So, I mean...
Now he finally blames it on the right thing.
That's when he's in prison for this incident. That we're about to get into.
Wake-up call.
Wake-up call, excuse me. On February 7th, 1981, this is a Saturday, he is arrested at Toronto International Airport, getting off of an Air Canada flight from Miami to Toronto. But before it was in Miami, it was in Peru and Bolivia.
Yes.
And in Peru and Bolivia...
What got on that plane?
Let's see here. Well, after a joint investigation by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and Canada Customs in cooperation with a regional police force here, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police spokesman Brian Bavis said customs officers seized 474 grams of cocaine.
Wow.
474 worth.
That'll keep him
about
busy for
$500,000.
474 hours.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe 236. We don't know.
It's a week's worth of coke for him.
So he is charged with illegally importing narcotics. And the funniest part of this is how he was trying to do it.
Oh, no.
Where take a guess, Jimmy. How do you think he was trying to get the coke into the country?
Was it in his ass?
It was on his person. Where do you think he had?
Okay, on his person.
It was...
Did he eat it?
No.
No. Did he duct tape it to his body?
No, this is even more hilarious. This is so 70s to me. This is like he had him in false heels in his shoes.
Get the fuck out of town.
I swear to God, he had a
He put it on lifts.
Yeah.
And put 474 grams of coke in, like platform shoes. He's got goldfish swimming in coke.
He's got false bottom. Imagine that coke ingenuity that someone came up with that.
They'll never figure it out.
You can hollow it out, man. You know how people do with Bibles? We do it with that. Oh,
do it with
shit.
my platforms.
Yeah, come on. Get me my...
I'll put my bell-bottom shoes or my bell-bottom pants on and drape them over the shoes. They'll never see it.
Never.
How did they catch it? Did
investigation. They knew this was happening.
Like he didn't stub his toe and it left a white mark?
No. And this was going on for a while also. Because there's other people involved. This is not just him.
All right.
He is the tip of the iceberg, but he won't rap.
Gotcha.
This guy's a stand-up cat in this way.
He just wants his coke.
Let's get another quote from him here. We got a few on this particular incident. Gold. This quote, he says, I guess I really got into it when hockey ended. I used it a little when I was playing, but really when you're playing hockey, you don't have the time. Cocaine was a good, easy excuse. Yeah. All of a sudden, halfway through training camp in 1979, it was over. It was easy to fall into. I was definitely using all the time. Now, that's what we have here. But he also has some things. So, I mean, he's arrested. He's taken in. He gets out. And there's 2 years before this and the sentencing and the trial and all this. So in these 2 years, he's working construction.
Coke field construction worker. That's beautiful. That's a guy that can work all day.
Yeah, and then he said, quote, did a lot of drinking, which he does always. No need to even mention that you've done a lot of drinking. Because
you're a construction worker now. That's what you do,
Are you awake?
Yeah.
You're drinking. Yes, we get it.
Yeah.
He separates from his wife, Lisa, which is probably the best thing for him at this point. She's not going around showing her tits to everyone.
He probably just adopted a really nice dog. He's like, I got to get rid of that bitch.
Yes, but... He also hooks up with another girl and knocks her up, too. So, I mean, you got that going on. So, come on, Steve. Get it together, pal. Works at a Toronto restaurant for 16 months, and his drink is the runner-up in the Toronto bartending competition in September of '82.
But never on a Sunday.
I assume he beat the shit out of the guy who got first place. I assume he just pummeled him unmercifully.
Stab him with a sharpened swizzle stick.
Beat him with a Grand Marnier bottle until he fucking gave him his trophy. Oh my God! He said too. Also, the wrist injury was a big deal. He said he never got compensated for that season, so he was very upset and bitter always. And he was bitter with his agent also. He had an agent that he was very angry at, and he says that he was in the middle of putting together a lawsuit against the NHL when he got busted for coke. Probably should have concentrated more on the lawsuit, less on importing large amounts of cocaine from South American countries.
Stay out of Peru and Bolivia, you fuck.
He said, he used all of his money for legal fees at his coke bust, so he couldn't sue the league now. He said he was suing for the wrist injury. They basically said there was a disagreement with him. They said you needed to file permanent disability within 30 days. Wow. And he said, I can't because I was having surgeries 4 months later, so I couldn't file after that because I didn't know what it was going to be like.
I can't write.
It was a bad wrist injury, too. I guess his bone got smushed into his hand, and it was really bad. Like, it changed his whole career. He wasn't the same guy after that, actually skill-wise. But, he was under the impression... basically that it was guaranteed money that he was going to get it, and he never did. And the league basically said, so sue us. Go fuck yourself. Because NHL was different back then. It was a much smaller thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about the publicity of this. Like, he's a cokehead. Fuck him. Yeah. So he's convicted after he pleads innocent.
Yeah.
But he's convicted in January 27, 1983. He's 32 years old at this point.
Wow, so young.
So young, yeah. And that's what he said. I thought I'd be playing hockey still at this point.
Instead, he's, Midnight Express?
He's doing Midnight Express cocaine movements into Canada, of all places. He's convicted and sentenced to 7 years, which is the minimum in this case, I guess, for
he got lucky.
Importing. He could have gotten life. That was one of the sentences on the table. And apparently, for that sentence, they made a deal where he would waive his right to appeal if he got a minimal sentence.
Just do the 7 and get out.
Do the 7, and he doesn't even do the 7. And that's the thing he does. And the cocaine too. This is the other thing. The cocaine. They say it's worth $500,000.
Yeah.
He said he was getting $15,000 for it because he was getting it for somebody.
Wholesale or some shit.
He was getting. He
was going to be the guy that brought. Yeah, he's the mule.
Basically,
right.
He said he paid $6,500 in Bolivia.
Yeah.
For that much coke, which was a good deal. Right. Paid $6,500 in Bolivia. It was 99% pure, tested out by the labs there, by the police labs. 99% pure. So he was bringing in
it's great shit,
the straight shit, and he wouldn't rat. He says, "quote This is a great in their own words right here, Jimmy. This is top notch." Quote: "There were other people involved, but I'm not going to be a rat. I don't want to worry about somebody jumping me from behind or a bunch of guys coming at me from the front. I'd rather do my 7 years and walk out than come down here with somebody else and be carried out.
I dig him.
So he's a gangster.
He's a soldier.
He's a gangster.
Yeah.
But he said, I don't want to worry about somebody jumping me from the back or a group of guys coming from the front because one isn't going to try it. Basically is what he's saying. I'm not worried about one guy coming at me from the front because I'll fight.
I just don't want to fight a bunch of guys anymore.
I don't care.
I'm 33
Timekeepers, referees, I don't give a shit.
I'll be 39 when I get out of here.
Yeah, 5'6" from the back. It's a different story. He spends 28 months in prison of the 7-year sentence. So he does half.
2.5 years.
Yeah, not even half.
Jesus.
Not even half. That's in prison. Then he goes into a halfway house for a little while, a Toronto halfway house. Still blaming his agent, Alan Eagleson, for not being compensated. It's still for the injury. Fucking Alan Eagleson. He sounds like a shiesty, shitty fucking agent, too.
Sounds like he's got a great house and everybody hates him.
Like a shithead.
Yeah.
Not like Lee Steinberg sounds like a guy you can trust, as an agent. Like that guy, Alan Eagleson, sounds like just a
Their neighbors
scumbag.
have a barbecue and they're like, Alan showed up. The fucking Eagleson's knocked on the door.
Like he's being investigated for some kind of real estate fraud on the side. Like that's what he sounds like, just a shithead. He's...
Everybody, shh. There's no party going on. The Eaglesons are at the door. I got to get rid of them.
Yes, exactly. And then later on, he kind of changes his tune. He does some articles. People talk to him, and he said that he didn't want to talk about cocaine use in the NHL anymore, which that's all he wanted to talk about for years.
That's all he wanted to sing about,
And later on, late 80s, he gets out of prison. He does his 23 months, and he said, no one wants to hear about that from a cokehead jailbird.
Yeah.
So I think he's just depressed. It sounds like he just has no, whatever. He gets out of jail. He starts working for his father, overseeing one of his golf courses in a golf club he had.
He's a goddamn groundskeeper?
In Welland, Ontario. I don't know what he's just an overseer.
Doesn't sound like a big town.
No, Welland, Ontario. He's arrested for shoplifting at this point.
Oh my God, it's so far down the hole.
Late 80s. He's arrested for shoplifting 5 shirts from a men's clothing store. When he's arrested, he has $12 in his pocket.
Oh my God.
And claims that he's on welfare.
Where's rock bottom? Where is it? It's gotta be
he's
there.
Knocking on a call.
Hello?
It's Steve. Yeah. I have a 3:30 appointment to hit rock bottom. Yeah. And he does eventually hit rock bottom.
I brought 5 shirts.
We're not there yet. Is 5 shirts enough? Do I need more for that? How long will is there laundry services in rock bottom?
Is there rent? I got $12.
I got 12. How expensive can rock bottom be?
Rock bottom?
Come on. It's got to be. So
Jesus.
He's arrested for shoplifting, and then after that was like a high-profile thing because he was trying to make it was like people were writing fluff pieces on him.
Rooting for the guy.
Trying to get back, and people were sad for him, and he's arrested. 5 shirts?
5 shirts, and he's got $12.
$12. He couldn't even buy a shirt.
Yeah.
He couldn't even be like, I was going to buy 1 shirt. But
then I was like, I like all 4 of these, too.
He couldn't buy an item and then steal a couple.
Right.
He had to just steal it all.
Like,
I
don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
I came shopping. I have nothing to give you.
Do you have a cufflink? Maybe. Not a silver one,
Can I take the buttons off these?
Is that
I really
possible?
like the buttons.
Yeah, like the one in the pocket in the little plastic baggie that I could use that for cocaine. Wait, no. Stop. Don't use the button baggie for cocaine.
Keep the baggie.
What am I doing? So at this point, too, he starts helping his father plan an executive golf course. And at this point, shit starts going down.
Feels like Dad started to feel real sorry too.
Yeah, he's about to hit rock bottom. 93, he's told by a doctor that his liver is in such bad shape he's going to die if he doesn't stop drinking immediately.
And that news alone makes you want to go have a fucking drink.
And he doesn't stop drinking at all. He just keeps drinking more heavily. Mid-90s, the Hockey News did a piece on him. Hockey News magazine or something, and he was selling vacuum cleaners door to door.
Oh, Jesus.
This was after the liver thing and the shoplifting. Oh, my God. Not good at all.
It doesn't get worse than that. That's like the stereotypical fucking wandering douchebag job, wandering nobody.
And here's rock bottom,
Here
Jimmy.
it comes.
He's trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So let's give him credit for that.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't sell vacuums anymore.
It's either rock bottom or like the start of something.
Yeah.
Like I saw Pursuit of Happiness that he was selling shit door to door.
And this isn't drugs, so we'll give him credit for that.
Right.
He doesn't do drugs.
All right.
He instead tries to start a prostitution ring. That's his answer to this, okay?
You won't buy this for this? You won't buy this sucker? How about this sucker?
Yes, he is. Jesus Christ. He's arrested in September of '97 in St. Catharines, Ontario, which coincidentally was the same place that I think he roughed up the timekeeper earlier. So he's got to stay out of St. Catharines. He was on welfare at the time and receiving $300 a month in a hockey pension. This was when they did a union deal to get the guys back pay.
Sure.
But he, that wasn't enough, so he is puts out personal ads looking for escorts, is what he does. Puts out personal ads looking for quote-unquote escorts, which are really just hookers in this sleazy prostitution ring. This is the most Canadian thing ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Not the crime, but the circumstances. He has a woman meet him at a Tim Hortons donut shop. So you have a hockey player meeting you at a Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
You can't get any more Canadian
than that.
That's as
Canadian as it gets.
Unless he beat you with his hockey stick. That'd be the only way. So meets this blonde, attractive woman. They go over various acts that he expects her to be able to perform, prices that she'll ask for and receive herself from him. Gave her a code name that's her, she's on the team, like your employee number.
Right.
I guess. This is your whore employee number. Here you go.
Your whore employee number is Bubbles.
Your whore employee number is this. Gave him a code name. Problem is, turns out she was a cop.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's definitely rock bottom.
That's rock bottom. So now he's charged with attempting to procure a prostitute, which is the language they use for pimping.
Yeah.
And it's
not. That's so bad for him.
It's so bad. So now he goes back to jail.
Yeah.
He's convicted. There's a couple of years go by, actually, and then he's finally convicted on April 21st, 98 for running an illegal escort service, a hooker factory. So he's screwed there. He goes back to prison. Only 3 months actually he gets for this, which I'm shocked about.
That's solid.
Right?
That's not so bad.
Not bad, right? He's good.
But you come out and you've got nothing.
So now he's got all this horrible reputation. He's sold. What's this guy's resume look like? What's he supposed to do with his life at this point? Well, I sold vacuum cleaners.
I can
beat
sharpen
the shit out of people.
out of a hockey stick.
I can rip a guy's toupee off and get it at least 12 rows into the stand. I make a really mean drink that'll make you shit your pants 4 seconds after you drink it.
He's useless.
And my ex-wife has great fake tits. So can I have the job or no? Is there benefits? What are we looking at here? Do we get dental?
Is there 401k?
Because I did play hockey.
I
really
got nothing. Need the 401k.
I need it bad. I need a retirement plan. Unfortunately for him, he really doesn't need that much of a retirement plan. He's released from prison in June of 1998, takes a job with an Alberta-based carpet cleaning company, which that might be lower rock bottom than cleaning carpets. That's terrible. Is worse than running a prostitution ring.
You're sucking shit out of fibers.
It's terrible.
From the bottom of people's feet. That's the worst job.
So at that point, he moves to Yellowknife in the Northwest Territory.
Oh, boy.
This shit is out there.
This is near the North Pole.
This is like Lewis and Clark shit. Like they're like
he needs a Sacagawea.
Yeah, he's basically out by Alaska, like in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere, and he's the company's rep out there for carpet and furniture cleaning. You're in the middle of the forest.
Nobody even has fucking carpet. There's no houses.
Well, I mean, what are you cleaning? Well, when the moose comes through the house, you have to be able to clean the carpet afterwards. But I mean,
he's cleaning vacation homes, probably. I can't imagine there's that many people that live up that way.
It's amazing, but he stays up there, and everybody says basically like people when they go up there, it's like they go up there to just because they've run out of options.
They're going up there to die.
It's like here, if anybody moves to Alaska, we're like, they got issues. What the hell are you doing that for? Yeah, they're probably crazy.
Right.
This is basically like Ted Kaczynski shit. Like he moved to the cabin. That's what he did.
He just hates technology.
He hates it, so he stopped doing drugs at this point.
That's
great. He was clean of drugs, but drank his ass off.
Oh, sure.
I mean, he's sitting in the woods. What the hell else is he cleaning? Imagine you clean carpets all day in the middle of the forest, and then you come home to your woods house, and you sit there. What are you going to do? You're going to drink? There's nobody to beat the shit out of, so you're going to drink. Yeah. Unfortunately, that leads to his death on November 16th, 2002, at the age of 50. Wow. 50 from liver cancer.
He got 50 years out of this thing.
Liver cancer, man.
That's
too bad. 50 years. They were 50 hard years, but I mean 50 years. And this woman, a lot of obituaries about him. Yeah. But the woman that he threw the hockey stick at, like a javelin.
Let's hear her words.
Had her final. She's going to have the last word.
She got the last dig at him.
She's going to have the last word on Steve Durbano here. First of all, she starts the article by saying, I haven't spoken to him for a while, and, quote, the last time I spoke to Steve Durbano, he threatened to kill me. So that's how she starts out the obituary. And then she says, like, a lot of things like, he's like, you're supposed to say nice things during an obituary, and I'm trying my best here, but I'm going to also tell it like it is. It's so sad. And then we read the whole obituary, and the last line of the obituary is, I mean, this is how you want to be summed up in your life here. And this is in like the major Toronto newspaper too. Quote, "He was a thug, a pimp, a druggie, and a psycho. Other than that, I'm sorry he's dead."
She tried so hard to say something nice. She's just like, "I'm sorry he's dead." That's all I got.
Might be the worst obituary line I've ever heard.
That's gorgeous.
Also, as succinct as you can be to summing a human being
wonderful.
ever, and it's amazing. But yeah, Durbano, guys, I just have to tell you guys, look up Steve Durbano fighting.
Yeah.
Just look up fighting, YouTube, Steve Durbano, endless.
And it's just, it
endless.
Sounds like the fights is just him projecting his struggle with life. He just has to struggle with somebody.
You can tell, like Eddie Johnson, you can tell a lot by the way a guy plays on the court, how he lives off the court. That's the same exact thing. He's the same
just
thing.
Struggling to get through it.
And through this, guys, the information that we don't have because they didn't keep records of it, because honestly, in Canada in the 70s, if you're a hockey player, they'd let some shit slide. I mean, here they would let baseball and football players slide in the 70s all the time. They would let these hockey players slide because he got arrested apparently countless times, countless bar fights. He's known as, like, if he goes out,
he's a psycho.
He's fighting somebody out in the bar. So he's already fought someone in the game. Now he's going to go out in the bar, fight another guy. He didn't even make it to the bar the one night. He was just outside the dressing room. And he's throwing down with some guy with naked teammates helping him out. So it's a complete mess. This poor son of a bitch. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for. He's kind of an unsettled soul, this guy, and never quite found his niche. And, I mean, I guess he did have a prostitution ring that might have hurt some people, but he never really hurt anybody who wasn't...
Yeah, that's a victimless crime.
You know what I mean?
He didn't...
Yeah, I mean...
He wasn't out there actively injuring people on purpose.
He wasn't looking for teenage girls. He wasn't looking for, like, he was just trying... Whatever.
The person he hurt the most was his ex-wife.
Yes, probably.
Physically,
I'm sure, and well, she also killed his dog.
Right.
So
she kind of.
And I do not
blame him at all.
No, and I don't advocate domestic violence. But if you kill the man's dog, that's worth a smack. I think maybe.
Start expecting a punch.
At that point.
Yeah, you're gonna catch one.
I think at that point you're squaring off. At that point, like, you killed my fucking dog. Like, I think we're gonna. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's an alarm. There's some heavy alarms going off outside the Crime and Sports studio that normally it's very quiet, and I don't know how we can hear that, but I hope you guys can't hear it. But if you can, apologies. Crime and Sports studio is not in the greatest neighborhood. No. So, but hey, that's what we can afford.
What are you going to do?
You know why? Because we're a grassroots organization,
it's fucking
Jimmy.
Free.
It's free. We're not journalists. We don't have a big network. We say this all the time. We know we have you guys listening to us. You guys have been so cool, and we can tell you guys have helped spread us around a lot, and keep it up, please. Thank you guys so much. Everybody that's followed us on Twitter at Crime and Sports, thank you guys. Facebook, facebook.com/Crime and Sports. You can email us at crimeinsports@gmail.com. Please do that. Jimmy, give them your Twitter.
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks. That's for Twitter and Instagram.
And I am at Jimmy P is funny there. We keep it up. We were going to do a guy named Mike Danton this week, but he's a hockey player also. But this story is way too twisted.
This is so fun.
You got to give me like a month or two on Mike Danton because it's deep and twisted. And I was like, whoa, I need some time.
But this one was just fun anyway.
This one was so much fun.
It ends terribly.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's a guy blowing opportunity,
after
tragedy,
opportunity.
Mental illness, alcoholism, drug abuse, crime. It's got it all. This was a good Crime and Sports thing. No murder.
None.
What are you going to do? That's okay.
But there was a death.
There's a death, and
there was a canine murder, and then the
dog was murdered, and the wife, I'm sure someone killed her and put her in a ditch at some point in her sad life, because she seems like a disaster.
What a bitch.
Dog-killing bitch.
I hope somebody hacked her tits off.
Ha! So I'm surprised it wasn't Steve Durbano. I'm taking him back. He takes him to Yellowknife and sits in a cabin with him and drinks himself to death.
I'm going to sell him for coke.
With his wife's tits in a jar.
I'm going to sell him for Labatt.
Jesus Christ. His Sharpen stick and his wife's tits in a jar. That's his mantle. He's like, all right, I'm good. Now I can drink myself to death. Thank you guys so much. Please join us next week. Come on back. See us again. Please, like I said, rate and review on iTunes. Spread us like a virus, please. Give them, tell all your friends. Tell anybody you can. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We love you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Keep the Crime and Sports movement going, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.